In this video, we will be comparing our spring and summer 2023 batches of Alishan High Mountain Oolong tea from Taiwan. We're doing a quick cupping of our spring and summer 2023 batches of Alishan High Mountain Oolong tea. They are from two different sources, but from the same region, just across a small valley from each other in Meishan Township, Jiayi County, Taiwan, Alishan Oolong Tea Country. And both of the sources are our regular sources. We end up going back and forth between them, depending on their seasonal produce. Our spring batch was from our more permanent source. The one overall is our first choice due to their setup. It's a husband and wife team. They have their own farm, their own factory. The environment is more pristine in the sense that it's up on the top of a hill. There's no development above them. There's more forest on that side of the valley. Our summer batch is from the biggest professionals we know in the high mountain tea industry, very much in demand, particularly from competition players. They have a track record that's just hard to beat, to put it very mildly. So we've learned a lot from them. They're super nice to us, and that's why we are grateful to procure tea from them as well. They're just a bigger, they're the bigger outfit. They work with one cool thing, and sustainable in its own right, is that they cooperate with the farmers in their small community by basically committing to purchasing their produce, the farmers' produce, and processing the tea themselves. And they buy all the farm products because they want the quality to control. They want to have the ability to control the quality of produce. So it's definitely a good deal for the farmers overall. They just have to manage their farms according to the guidelines of this factory, and then they sell their raw produce to them, and they don't have to worry about processing their produce or liquidating it, basically selling it and promoting it and all that. So we definitely appreciate that setup in the community. I think it's one that's wise, and it is by definition sustainable business practice. Okay, so spring from Ruili and summer from Ruifeng. We can see that the oxidation, I remember sourcing the spring tea and really enjoying the flavor of it in the farmer's home, bringing it home and realizing like, wow, it's quite oxidized for a spring tea. And I'm reminded of that now. The color of the spring tea on my left is darker than the summer tea on my right. They both have a nice transparency. But the summer tea is definitely lighter and brighter, indicating that the leaves were oxidized less, but they're also processed well, like in terms of depleting the moisture evenly. It has a brighter, definitely more reflective and luminous quality to it, the summer tea on my right. The leaf, I'll lean over here and check out the dried leaf. The spring tea is cleaner, darker, smaller, so there's more uniform size, which indicates the size of the leaves. There's more uniform growth in the crop that was picked. The summer tea looks like summer tea in the sense that there's a considerable amount of stem material. It's the fastest growing season, and the new growth grows really fast, and there's more space on the branch, so to speak, the new growth. There's more space between each level of leaves. So that's naturally just the case with summer tea. It grows fast, and from the brewed leaves, we can see that although it looks like considerable stem material in the dried leaf, the leaves are not overly mature at all. They're still like just barely mature, basically. They're not large, and there's definitely no yellowing in the leaves. So I'm almost sure that there was a soft grooming or a pruning after the spring crop The spring crop was uneven. We had a drought in early spring. It didn't grow very evenly. So most farmers pruned their trees just back a little bit so that the next crop would be more even. And I'm pretty sure that was the case with this crop that we sourced for our summer 2023 batch. Stem material, definitely, but it's all supple. And there's nothing really wrong with stem as long as it's not super like fibrous and woody, basically. If it doesn't turn into a wooden branch yet, it still has flavor and juice. There's more complications when you want to roast tea. It's harder to roast evenly if there's a lot of stem material, so they often de-stem it for roasting. The spring tea also looks quite immature, which makes sense in that the leaves just didn't grow very big because there wasn't enough water. We got some fully mature leaves here, but a nice supple feel to the spring crop, even coloration. So there we go. Let's see what we got in terms of flavor. Sweet. Glasses out of here. More bright and fresh, which makes sense. The spring tea is at least 2 months old, close to 3 months old, and this was picked like last week. Taste spring first. Wow, it is oxidized. It's delicious. It's creamy and soft, but it's more what we usually get for our Shanmenshi. Typically, in progression, Lishan is the lightest, Alishan is the second. It's a little bit more oxidized than Lishan, and then Shanmenshi is the most oxidized. It appears that this year I've been leaning toward more oxidized teas from Alishan. Okay, big difference. Lighter, more fragrant, fresher. Nice, bright, herbal qualities. So this is just for our reference and for fun, basically, to do these tastings side by side. There's not really a quality comparison. They're two different seasons. The spring crop is by far the most sought after, particularly in the last decade or so, because winter tea, the distinctive character of winter tea has diminished due to climate change, basically. We don't get cold winters here anymore, and there's not that flavor quality that would come out of a slow growing season in the winter that we used to get 20 and 30 years ago. It depends. It goes year to year, and sometimes winter tea tastes more like winter tea used to taste. Yum. That's a very thick, substantial brew from spring, from our Rayleigh source. Summer is going to be a nice summer brew. It's light and refreshing. On the floral side more than herbal. Doing this for systematic. Third brew in. So I did 9 grams of tea in 150 milliliter tea judging cups for 1 minute each. First, second, and third brews. Back to the second here. The spring got a little lighter and a little more astringent by the third brew. Let's see how we have our summer. Slightly lighter, but not really astringent. Yeah, the second brew is definitely the most substantial. Holding out with the third brew as well. So there we have it. We have our summer 2023 batch of Alishan High Mountain Oolong tea on the shelf now. And we'll let you in on a little secret at this point in the video. The market value of the seasonal crops in Taiwan is quite different. Spring is a lot more expensive than summer and fall. So we get to offer summer and fall crops at a much more reasonable price, so to speak. It's a lot cheaper. So you can check out, it's fun to experience each season. That's part of the gourmet and connoisseur aspect of being a tea head. So we encourage you to do that, and Yeah, if you like one of the summer and fall batches, you can stock up on it because it's considerably cheaper than winter and spring. There we have it. Alishan High Mountain Oolong Summer 2023. Get some.